Earlier today, I was, going in my thoughts about everything that I had on my plate. I have a lot of things coming up, me and my children, such as doctor's appointment and other things that, that I have to take care of. And I was just going over, and sometimes things can become overwhelming in a sense when you start to schedule out and plan out and set goals and everything. Sometimes you become overwhelming. You don't think about those things when you're planning and while you're in the midst of everything. But as you start writing it down and thinking about it, sometimes all those thoughts become one and they become chaos. And we know that God is not the author of confusion. We know that the Lord is peace. But what I started to think about when I was just going through all the chaos and all the thoughts and all the planning and everything that was, running through my head saying, you have to be here with this. You got to make sure that you make that phone call. You have to make sure that you call that person back. And all this stuff was just going through my head. I remember the Lord witnessing to me, and he allowed me to remember that I'm living in the answer of prayer. He told me, despite the overwhelming, what I may feel with, just so much that's going on, just remember that I am living in the answer prayer, because it was a time when I was not even able to schedule my children's doctor's appointment because I was always working, and the shift that I worked was overnight shift. And when I was off, I immediately came home, got them dressed up and ready for school, and took care of that, then came back home, took care of the home, and then in between time I was able to kind of do for myself and catch up on sleep. So it was a time when I wasn't even able to adequately take care of myself and obviously stay on schedule to take the kids to their doctor's appointment. Yes, the kids was being taken care of and they was going to their doctor's appointments, but everything was so overwhelmed, and it was also never on schedule as it is now. So he reminded me, he said, yes, it may feel overwhelming because you're getting back in the swing of things. This is what it looks like when you have time. This is what it looks like when I give you favor. This is what it looks like when you're living in the answer prayer. You have to reflect back, Lashelle, to that prayer when you said, Lord, if you would just give me the time where I can at least catch up with my kids, where I can have multiple days in a week to just spend time with my children, when I can at least take myself to a doctor's appointment, where I can at least get caught up on this pile of clothes that's piling up, when I can at least just spend time with my children. I would love to have a calendar full with activities and events that me and my children can, attend, where me and my children can go to, where me and my children can have time, when I can have time for myself, when I can make arrangements to fold up that laundry, when I can cook a full course meal without hurrying through the drive-through line really quick and feeding the kids. And there's no shame up in that, but what I'm saying is I had came to myself, I had came to the realization when the Lord started ministering to me that I was living in the answer prayer that I had asked him a year or two back. I had came to the Lord a couple times in prayer, and I say, Lord, I'm just so overworked, I'm so overwhelmed, I'm always tired, don't seem like I'm ever at home with my children, seem like I can't never get all this clothes done. I don't know the last time when we all sat down and ate a full course meal, not just something that was really quick, but just really sat down at the table together and ate a full course meal. So when God answered, he answered that prayer, and he reminded me when I started feeling like, oh, it's just so much going on with these doctor's appointments, that you ought to be grateful. Remember the time when you wasn't even able to plan or schedule accordingly because you never had the time. So I just wanted to get up on here to encourage somebody to, slow down, smell the roses in life, smell the sense of what God give you, use every opportunity that the Lord gives you to spend time with your children. Always reflect back and know that you living in an answer prayer. It's something right now in your life that's happening today that you have prayed about. I don't know what that is, but you prayed about it and the Lord answered that prayer. And sometimes we become so overwhelmed with looking towards the future. We become so overwhelmed in, the chaos and the activity of what life brings us. Because one thing about life, no matter who you is, it does not discriminate against you, okay? Life is going to life regardless, But sometimes I believe we get so distracted that we forget to thank God for the answer prayers that, we living in now. Sometimes we get so focused on the prayer that we're currently praying and the blessings that we're currently expecting that we forget to thank God and to remember that we also living in some of the answer prayers that God has already answered. So I just wanted to send that encouragement to somebody today and just tell you it's okay to slow down. It's okay to take a breather, and it's okay sometimes to reflect back and thank the Lord and say, thank you, Lord, that you answered this prayer for me. I think sometimes that we forget that we are living in answer prayers because we're so busy looking for the next one, and there's nothing wrong to be expecting, to have an expected end. There's nothing wrong for expecting to the Lord to deliver on something that, you prayed to him about or that he promised you about, okay? But sometimes we have to slow down and thank God for the prayers we are now living in. So I hope this message blesses y'all and keep y'all. Until next time, God bless and keep the faith.